we met, we kind of
grade school.
Yeah, no, it was grade. It was elementary school, but there was a time where we weren't hanging out for many years, and then we got back together and started doing stuff around like 2018, 19, and then that's when I shot the first like documentary that I did, the paranormal documentary that I put on YouTube, which ended up getting me a couple different production companies to try and create shows with me, and then he's been tagging along on the independent stuff that we've been doing for 3 years now. But the actual paranormal experiences go way back for me. In particular, I was about 15, 16, and there was an abandoned insane asylum that word around the street said was really, really haunted. So I loaded up my car. I just got my license. I loaded up the Ford Probe with as many bodies as I could. And we went over there, and this is before like social media really was a thing. And so it wasn't a location that was completely destroyed with, you know, graffiti and people breaking in, because it was just word of mouth. And it was kind of out in the outskirts. So when we went there, when we first, all right, I'm not going to say kick the door down. When we first opened the door, it was like when you know that feeling when you see like the hallway of like or an opening in a place that's abandoned and very creepy. You're just like, the first time I saw that, like, took my breath away, and I freaked out. I had a 35 millimeter disposable camera, and I had three shots left on it. So I took 3 of them down the hallway real quick and then jetted out of there because I was freaked out. I was only like 16. I worked at a photo lab, like a 1-hour photo lab. If you guys remember those.
Yeah.
And, it's a thing of the past now. You don't see those anymore. I worked there, so I developed the film myself, and 2 pictures came out clear. The third one, all 3 were taken down the same hallway. The third one, you could see the silhouette of a lady standing there with that black hair. It looked like it was wearing a nightgown, and it was a bluish hue, but there was no eyes. It was just black, and it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life, because we had just taken 3 pictures, like, you know, wound it up, snap, wound it up, snap, wound it up, snap. Let's go. I'm freaked out. And we saw that, and I brought it to school, and everybody was freaking out. And then, of course, I lost it. So this is the one piece of evidence I didn't want to lose, but I did. I captured another photo like that in front of Franklin Castle too, about 2 years later. This is when I was real young. And ever since then, I've been doing it just for fun up until about when I decided in my 30s, when I was, I just made a decision, that like a conscious decision. When I'm in my 30s, I'll start shooting like raw video, and then, you know, try and put together a documentary. So I did at the Fantasy here in Cleveland, which is a venue that I used to play out with my other band. And now that we're playing out again, we may play there again. I'm not sure, but it was on like the Bio channel. It's a notoriously haunted location in Cleveland. Captured some crazy stuff. Put it on YouTube. I was with my ex-girlfriend I used to live in England, and she was English. So we did some things over there, but I had her over here for this one. And it was pretty crazy. Then a guy by the name of Mark Marinaccio reached out to me. I don't know if anybody knows who that is. Did a couple seasons of Ghost Hunters. He said, he's like, let's do a show. So I signed a 1-year contract with him, and we built this show, and it was actually a really cool show. But unfortunately, it involved my girlfriend and I, but wasn't working out with her and I, so we kind of had to abandon that, and bounce around with a couple other companies, and I'll get you up to par with that. But I know you guys just asked me about my first paranormal experience.
That's all right. Show's about you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we want to hear your stories too. I didn't even know. Like, I'm just now seeing everybody here, so. Can I get a quick synopsis? What everybody's doing here and what the deal is? I already know about the show Entity Voices.
I love this. I love this. I love that he's doing this, because it's interactive, and this is like, for some of us, this is the first time we're meeting you. I'm already intrigued by the stories you guys have just told, and we just got started. So that's cool.
Thanks.
Well, who wants to start?
Tony goes first. Tony's the pooh bah.
All right. We'll go first.
Anyway.
Cherie and I have been doing paranormal research for the last 12 years, 3 months, 4 months, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I was a complete skeptic. Cherie dragged me into it. I went along because 12 years ago she asked me to take her ghost hunting on Valentine's Day, and I had two choices. I could either take her or have her mad at me until next Valentine's Day. So I took her.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we came back from the weekend. She had captured just unbelievable stuff that blew my mind. And for months, I tried to debunk it, tried to rationalize it, tried to figure out how the hell this was happening, couldn't do it. And so we went back and back and back.
Gosh,
we investigated that place over 50 times.
What's the place?
Hotel San Carlos in downtown Phoenix.
Phoenix. Oh, I was just in Phoenix for the Vulture City Paracon. I was part of the whole Paraflix thing with that.
Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Really? We were out there.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah.
I had a big banner and everything. It said Ghostatic. You didn't see me?
I don't.
Oh,
I
my
don't.
God,
There
yes.
this year.
Yes, and the first one.
First row.
When we were with
The Native
Patrick.
Their booths wrapped all the way around, and
You're a little snabby. That's why we didn't. No, I'm just kidding.
What did you say?
She's so silly.
she said you were a
He
little.
has a tendency to mess with people.
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what the hell you said. I thought I heard. Did you say Natalie? Did you talk about Natalie from Paraflix? Because I thought you said Natalie. Natalie's the CEO of Paraflix.
Yeah, Natalie Jones.
Yeah, Natalie Jones. I thought you were making reference to her.
Natalie.
Yeah, I know Natalie. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, we were just with her at OSR, Ohio State Reformatory,
Over the
this
weekend,
It was pretty intense. I'm sorry, it took me a little while to send you the images that I needed to send you. We were busy, but we got it down, and we are here at the show, and we're all excited about
Yes.
Awesome.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
that's what all.
Glad to have you.
Anyway, our specialties are EVP and ITC.
Okay. Interesting. So
Awesome.
you guys have specialties. All right.
We do.
All right.
Ron Lourdes, go ahead.
All right. Well,
You know, anyway, we have the usual paranormal experience. Well, me, not necessarily him. And then we research. You want to tell him? Because it's your guy.
oh yeah, I've been doing this for a little over 10 years. I started when I lived in LA. I'm from New Jersey, which is where we are now. So I've done stuff on both coasts. And then she could tell how she got into it real fast. I kind of dragged her into it. I didn't use Valentine's Day as leverage, but if I had known that then, I would have. And so we fell into the same thing, like more of an audio specificity with ITC. And we've been doing for the last few years what's called direct radio voice, which is a precursor to Spirit Box's Frank's Box. It's just pure white noise. It's a European methodology. And we've been getting really good results. And so I just came out with a book called Paranormally Speaking, Knowingly Talking to the Unknown. Tells a little bit of the story, and then I dragged her into it.
Yeah, and I had paranormal experiences as a child. My family has a history of espiritista, which is like it's from Puerto Rico. So yeah, so something happened and traumatized me, blah, 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 whatever. But I wasn't really into the paranormal.
Is that like
because of
Santeria?
that. It's similar, but it's not that.
Okay.
But for many years, I thought it was. Just recently, I asked my mom about it, and she's like, "No, honey, we don't practice Santeria. We're espiritistas." I was like, "Oh," because I was really young. I mean, I grew up with it.
Okay.
So we have completely two different backgrounds. And then, but I wasn't in it, and he reintroduced me into it, and I was hooked. And then now we do the direct radio voice and forget about it. That's it. Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I want to look more. I want to look more into what you're talking about. It's interesting.
Thank you, Steve Holte, by the way. Steve Holte and Katie Holte are two of the best ghost box builder ITC people in the industry for years. So we met with them Friday night. We had dinner and I gave them copies of the book and stuff. They're in it. Tony's in it. There's some brilliant people doing spirit communication stuff. So I featured a bunch of them in the book because you can't be part of a community and be me. So
Yeah, right.
That's
I
awesome.
can do that.
Before we forget, happy birthday, belated happy birthday, Loki.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, hers was.
I wanted this day to have everybody on my birthday because it means a lot to me. It's special. And I also forward some pretty good videos to Chris. Things that we have captured. So we'll get to that soon. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's everybody else. We still got to hear from Chris and Audra.
I started having experiences I'm sensitive, so I started having experiences with spirits as a kid, and then in high school I started chasing it pretty hardcore, and then I was in my early 20s, so about 25 years ago I started investigating pretty heavily, and been doing it ever since. And then former law enforcement, I'm an ordained minister, sensitive. Audra's sensitive, even though she won't admit it. But when we first started dating, she told me about some pretty vivid, hardcore demonic dreams that she used to have. And then we started talking about it. And I asked her if she wanted to go on an investigation. And she's like, a real one? I said, of course, a real one. So I took her out investigating, and she's been hooked ever since. So we've been doing it together as a team for the last 10, 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're the odd two out. We're not a couple. All these couples.
I was wondering.
That's not what Caleb told me in the emails.
Go over. That's funny.
I lost my balls already.
Look at Caleb. He's like, screw you
I'm
guys.
gonna lose it.
I know.
We forgot to tell you before the show started, we're not mature at all.
No, you know what?
We can relate. We can
We
relate.
can relate with that. Yes. Awesome. I heard there was a sneak peek of a video that you were going to show.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Maybe.
So let me share my screen, and I will show you guys Ghostatic. I've got 3 screens. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right one.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yep.
It helps. It helps. It is.
All right, everybody, here we go.
Sweet.
Wow.
Buffer.
I don't trust anyone. Are they watching me? Everybody else seems to fuel fire, and insanity keeps it burning strong. Why am I running away? I'm crying, I'm begging, I'm bleeding. This planet is still not big enough for both of us. Even though your ocean's away, you're still on my dreams. I don't love anyone. Are you listening? Oh, can it be the feelings I desire? Oh, can it be love to all this pain?
Spooky. Those movies.
All right.
Awesome.
That was really good.
That was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I asked Tony, who is that? Who is the one singing? I didn't even know it was Damo. Oh, like, okay, there you go. Could you have a hat?
So
Somebody
Chris,
we're
I
gonna
have
have in a couple of weeks show from now.
Yeah.
Chris, I have to ask, did you actually hit share audio though? Because it sounded like it was coming through your mic.
It was
Because
going
the
up and down.
levels kept going in and out.
I hit share screen,
Okay, so yeah, it was coming through your mic then. That's why.
That was an
but everybody could hear it, right?
Yeah, it's
No,
Yeah,
no, we
yeah.
can hear it. We can hear it.
Because
level
when you
was
share,
much,
when you
like-
share audio, it'll mute all our mics, and they weren't. So that's why I figured, okay, we're picking it up through your mic.
It's a little checkbox on the bottom that says share. I missed it every time. It says share audio, and then it overrides everything else. But,
But you heard the
For
whole
those of you
song.
watching, this is the part of the show where Chris effed up.
No, don't worry about it, Chris. You could. That was a good video. You guys did a great
Yeah,
job.
Yeah, it was way
yeah. And you heard everything. It was good.
yeah, musically that was really good. Your vocals were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And whoever did your music video did a fantastic job creatively. That was really
Yeah.
cool.
And I love the fact that you have a female drummer.
Second on box. I appreciate it. Yeah. So a big shout out to Blind 7 Photography. He's the one who shot the video. I actually had nothing to do really with that music video, just a few little bits of input. But this time, so I didn't have to like do all the post-production and all that, which I did with the last video. Yeah, there's the girl in the video, the big monster.
Yeah.
She's from Columbus, Ohio. She's 6'7".
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow.
No joke. So she was a like, you can't really, we didn't really use her height in the video for anything in particular, which I kind of wanted to, like something where I'm like looking up at her, but you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. The video came out pretty solid, and yeah, we did it in 2 nights. That was released back in
That was
April
in
4th.
February, March.
Well, we shot it. We shot it in February. It came out. Technically, it was done March 25th, and then we had the whole full version.
If you look at my Facebook, there are some behind the scenes, but that's just
That was on. That's on Imagine. I'm on Imagine Records, which is like a subsidiary of Warner. So it's
Oh, okay.
it's not like a it's not a major. It's more of an independent. One of the guys from Seven Dust owns the label. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that band, but yeah. So
So you wrote the song?
what's that?
You wrote the song?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's all original music.
Yeah. So that song, I wrote that song a few years back, but then I ended up, I don't know, tweaking it a little bit. I'm sitting on like a plethora of music that now that I got this deal with this label, I'm just trickling it in. I was working on a song right now, like right before you guys, before we started
That's
this
a big
podcast.
announcement, actually. Now that you're going to say it, there is an announcement. There is a big Ghostatic song coming to all of you soon.
Another one, yeah.
Another
Nice.
this summer, in the world.
Very
Stay
cool.
tuned for that. That is a big announcement. It's going to be wild. It's going to be awesome. I get to hear it because
So if you're trying to figure out what what we do, and like his role on the music is on the back end, a lot of the marketing, the PR, all that stuff. The music for this project in particular is just basically I just write everything, and then I bring a band on, and they kind of just, you know, I do all the mixing and mastering and writing and creating, and then I got a band that I bring on, and we kind of tweak things a little bit for live. And that's what we're doing right now. We're putting together a small tour in June, and then we've got a couple festivals.
we
lined
have
up.
Metal and Mountains coming up.
Yeah.
It's in Pipestem, West Virginia,
Metal-
August 25th and 29th. It's a huge metal fest, and they can make it. That'd be gnarly.
Yeah, anybody from the West Virginia area? It's a big
or
festival.
Ohio or anywhere.
But I'm not sure what day we're playing yet. Though we're not sure what day.
Well, that'll be revealed eventually.
Yeah, they're gonna
All right.
So
Oh,
that's
God,
the
that's
piece.
going on.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
busy. That's good.
It was good. It was funny. At the end of it, I'd done production stuff in the boxing and mixed martial arts world before. And at the end, when you're kicking the set down and ripping holes in it, I went, somebody who had to be sitting there going, I hope we shot everything we need this set with before we did that scene.
There'll be no retake.
I was freaking out. Yeah, they're like, you better just bring it. You better knock every wall down. This is your only shot. I was like, at that point, I was totally exhausted.
That was the fun part.
the last shot of the second
That
day.
was
It
the
was
last
like
shot.
2 a.m. I had to and we shot it in this cold ass warehouse,
40 degrees, man.
which is actually,
Oh.
yeah, it's just a lot.
Everybody's freezing.
But
Great.
It's
I
good.
actually,
Sounds like an investigation.
Yeah.
I actually fell. I was kicking down one of the walls and I fell, and they had to cut that part out because I kicked so hard that I fell through the wall.
Wow.
It was fun for
Oh,
me.
you made it good.
Yeah, he was right. All those blinking lights. He was controlling all the lighting in the background. He was just going like this. You'd be surprised how funny, the little tricks you do that you'd think it's oh my God, it's mega production. But we've got all this makeshift stuff that we do. Let's try this. We had this little just trigger pedal, and everybody's tapping it, and trying different techniques to get it to blink fast enough.
That's awesome. All right, so let's look at some of your evidence. I'm going to go ahead and play them first, and then you can describe the clip after, because all of them are for Chris.
Oh,
which I assume was for me for the evidence on the show. So,
right.
Okay, I'm not sure what I'm even going to watch yet. So,
I sent them. So.
Okay, all right.
I guess we'll find out.
So here's the first one. Here we go.
For Chris one.
For Chris one.
They're all highlight a number of things.
Yeah.
Apparently Philip didn't move all you guys. How bad was it here at the infirmary? Everybody forgot about you. There's nothing here left to remind the world that you once existed. Yeah, well, Mark. So how bad was it here? Tell me. Tell me. Oh. It was. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. We want to remember you, so if you gave us a name, that would be our best bet. Speak clearly. What's your name? What's your name? I don't know. I heard a name. Either Aaron or Adam. Who else is here? How many spirits are still here?
Apparently these spirits are intelligent because the guy sitting to the right of me's name is Caleb.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That
that's
was
really cool.
That was an EVP that we had in.
Well, not an EVP, but it was off the SB7. And we were sitting in, I'll explain to you where we were. So that was a place called Snyder Park, and it's actually not too far from where we're at right now. It's in Cuyahoga Falls / Akron, if you're familiar with the area. Snyder Park is would look to be a park inconspicuously. It's actually a massive graveyard with all the headstones removed. And if you fly a drone over it, you can see where the people are still buried. It was a poorhouse for a while, or a rooming house, and then it turned into they housed so many people who were mentally, physically ill, people who were disabled. They ran experiments on people. They sent bodies to Case Western Reserve without anybody knowing, because people would get dropped off back in the day. Without any regard for their well-being, because it's just what happened as soon as asylums started popping up and stuff like that. There was body parts that have been found on the premise that have come up from the ground, because it was I don't know what the soil was like, but there's lots of divots, and you could kind of see where some of the buildings may have been. You could see framework where they sat. On Google Maps, you could see it. On Google Maps, you could actually see the lines of graves that were there. They're still there. The grass grows strange. And people are sitting there playing.
Look at dogs and playing soccer.
If I remember correctly, that location not only had a certain amount of marked graves, they had quite a few unmarked graves.
Yeah,
they didn't know the names of the people they were burying. There wasn't funding for it. So they dug graves to put more than one body in.
Yep.
And then due to erosion and water shifting the soil, there were body parts that were coming up, because some of them weren't even in wood boxes or coffins.
Exactly.
Which is the reason why they relocated it to a different area. But even today, they did not acquire all of the bodies or the body parts.
Yep. There's people.
I wasn't sad 10 minutes ago, but now I'm sad.
That's just awful.
I'm sad.
Yeah, it's terrible. It really is terrible. And we got a lot. The SB7 was going nuts there.
SB7 was out of control.
There was a lot that happened in that location, even though it was outside.
A lot of interference.
Yeah, there was a little bit, but it was, man, there's body parts. Like, they weren't burying whole bodies. They were burying just pieces of people because they were doing experiments. And I don't know if you're familiar, Tony, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. There's a place, Case Western Reserve, which is now a really huge prestigious college in Cleveland. It was originally just like a big, giant science lab where they were running like all sorts of tests and experiments on people, dead and alive.
Right.
They were being sent back and forth.
Well, there was all sorts of activity that was going on that we wouldn't consider appropriate, not back then or today or any time in between. But we all know that did occur and does occur. And, any place that was taking care of people that were underprivileged or handicapped or, they didn't have the funding, they didn't treat them right. And this was
It's a lot of them.
Case
There's a lot of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and what a lot of people don't know is the reason we bury 6 people 6 feet deep and we put them in coffins and now we put them in concrete, like tombs. They place the coffin and then they put a concrete slab over top of. They have anybody that's seen anybody buried in the last 10 years, they have a concrete box that they put the coffin in, and then they cap it, and that's just in case they have to put somebody on top. But in places like Cleveland, where your water table's high, for one, and then you get a lot of snow, you get a lot of ground freezing. When you get ground freeze actually goes down 3 to 4 feet. And what will happen is that ground will freeze and harden. And then once the soil starts to unfreeze and starts to thaw, it pushes things up. So when you put a fence in Cleveland, you're putting your fence posts in at least 4 to 5 feet minimum. So when that ground freeze happens in the wintertime and the spring starts coming up, you're not pushing up your fence posts. Same thing with bodies. If you don't put those bodies deep enough and you don't capsulize them, what's going to happen? They're going to start surfacing, right?
And they end up in your water supply.
Very interesting investigation.
Yeah, that was part of the problem.
Contaminated.
Yep. That was part of the problem, is that they were contaminating the water supply.
That was the first time we flew the drone, actually.
Yeah, there was some. That's where I got the drone footage of. You could actually see.
Yeah.
You'll see like the way the ground is obviously not settled, and some of it's not fertile because you'll see the grass is growing around where they had buried people. You see squares of grass and then squares of no grass, so you can actually see where the coffins lie, even if there are.
Did they take the headstones, or
no headstones are there?
I don't think there ever were any headstones.
Were headstones?
There might have been some wood crosses there, maybe at one point, but there's nothing there.
Like they didn't care about these people. They were the feeble. No one cared about these people. It was just like a dumping ground.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say that one of the things I like, besides the clear responses that came out of no otherwise radio emissions, was that there were questions that you asked about the memory of them, and there was a reverence and respect to how it was being done. And I that's an important lesson for anybody watching, because that's something we need to show each other, as well as when we try to communicate, with spirits. So I thought that was cool also.
Good point.
Yeah, we try. I mean, we are guilty of, saying some things that might be considered, aggressive or provoking, but this was a situation where it was just a bunch of victims. There was no prison. There was no evil. It was just terrible circumstances at a terrible time in this country, in the history and the way we treated people. And there is I don't know, a silver lining, I guess. I don't even want to call it that, because with all of that, all the things that they had done in terms of medically, how they learned, absolute wrong way to go about it. But, these people, technically, a lot of them didn't die in vain. If they were victims of experiments or such things of that nature, there was, something to be learned at least. I mean, I'm trying to spin it in my head so I don't feel so giddy about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least there was something better in the scientific field that maybe we benefited off of for them, so they don't die in vain.
Yeah.
It was definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah.
I mean, the EVP was probably the best. That's why I sent that to you. I thought it was. My name's not very common, and for it to show up like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not just that, but you're
Yes.
sitting there too. Time when we talk about, because we specialize on ITC, Tony and I, timing and relevance is your governance for anything.
Right.
If anybody wants to tell you that radio bleed through when you're sitting there, that's impossible.
But it's like a double whammy, because not only that, because you're absolutely right, but his name is not really,
Right.
and then so you have both things. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, the mathematical probability of that happening by chance, 1,000,000,000 to 1.
Right.
That short amount of time.
We got it, and that was I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, that was the
100%.
first. I think that was the first one that I put you on camera with.
Let's go. Yeah.
And the SB7, I'm on the fence about it, and it's sometimes you just get a lot of interference, and you can just hear talk shows and whatever. But for some reason, that location and one other location, it was just I don't know, we tapped into something, and it was so responsive to what we were saying. I was shocked.
Yeah, that was actually.
I think that's the key right there, is what you were interacting with. There was a resonance and a responsiveness that might have been unique to both you guys and the environment. More so than the device is the facilitator, but I don't think it's the only key to it. I think you got what you got because you're you and he's him, and it was kind of like the recipe for the for that event that evening.
It made the connection for the environment, and then for the communication to come through. Yep.
Well, and that's the difference too for the skeptics out there that don't like the sweeping. Well, you're sweeping through radio channels, you're picking up programming. When you have timing, you have relevance, and you have an intelligent response to the questions that you're asking.
Right.
You're telling me the rock station downtown knows exactly what I'm saying and can respond to my answers.
And
knows Caleb's name. Yeah.
Yeah. If you get a radio DJ saying Caleb when Caleb's sitting there in an investigation when nothing otherwise came through, you need to find out when they're giving away cash and prizes, because your luck is phenomenal.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great evidence, is my point. That was good.
It was different.
Yeah. I saw some questions popping up in the comment section. That was an SB7, by the way, whoever that was.
SB7.
Standard
there you go.
equipment. Yeah. Nancy, if that answers your question.
All right, let's go to what? Did somebody say something?
Don't bet him.
No, I said it works.
Go to the next clip.
It's just him talking.
It's just
nothing.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where Ron F's up.
All right, for Chris 2. Here we go.
I didn't sleep here for a while after that. There have been a few incidents where I didn't sleep here because of that. Just random, most random occurrences. I can't stand that stuff.
I wouldn't be into that.
What, did you hear that?
Hold on.
That was like a thump.
Wait, all right. I just heard a big ass boom. All you guys heard it.
Right up.
I hope that caught on audio.
That's pretty loud. Thump.
Dude, I'm freaking out, man.
It's gonna be like 2:33 in the morning. 3 in the morning.
Is it really?
Almost a shower. Hold it down. Jackson's in there.
Something probably, I don't know.
What the? I'm out of here, dude. Shut up. I get out of here, dude.
Something probably, I don't know.
What the? I'm out of here.
Can't believe that.
Wow.
And there is that common "what the" phrase that you hear.
That's what, you get your card carrying status from at some point saying that phrase.
Yeah, right. That was Joe who said that in the background, but that was probably the most freaked out I'd ever been in my life, like in terms of instant, because this was a residential. I don't know about you guys, but residentials seem to always get the best, like, because you're targeting one person and you antagonize or whatever it is you're doing. You're prying, and the next thing you know, that was our friend Joe. This is another reason why we got into the paranormal. My friend Joe's house has been haunted from the get-go, and I think it had something to do with something we had done when we were teenagers. But we're for sure there's one person who died in his house, and we as we dug deeper, we found out that she may have been. It was suspicious circumstances why she died, and there was no investigation into it. We dug deep on that. The guy who we would assume, if anything, was suspicious, he left the state. He moved out of state and disappeared. That was probably He moved in there when he was 15, 16.
Yeah,
So it's probably like
15.
yeah, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that. But he has seen full-bodied apparition in his basement more than one time, and more than one person has seen it. He's seen a shadow figure twice, at least twice in his hallway. Not to mention other times he probably just hasn't even said anything because it happens so often.
That damn thing ripped itself right off.
There was I don't know what it was. It was like
blinds.
It was blinds, but like it was the thing that covers the blinds. Like you pull a blind.
Oh, yeah.
It was the cover of it.
The lamp. Yep.
Like for no reason, that thing just it looked like it got yanked off the wall. And at that point,
it's kind of like, oh my god,
I spent a couple minutes outside. I didn't want to go back in, but then like we went back in. He ended up staying at my house that night. He brought his kid with him and everything because he was
Giuseppe in the chat said it's called a valance.
Yep, that's what it is.
I was going to say that too, but I thought I would be wrong. And that's we talk about this all the time. I don't care how experienced and how educated you are in this field. When something that happens like that, you're really not 100% prepared. You're just not.
Exactly.
No, I mean, like it was everybody just wanted to exit.
Yeah, we all wanted to leave.
Like okay, that was a little intense.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah,
And for everybody watching,
They
those
have
the
something
lances.
rip off the wall.
Those the lances have metal clips.
That's the
And
thing.
the metal piece
You're
on top of your blinds have like ridges, and those metal clips snap in there. And there's at least 3 to 4 of them. So in order for that thing to pull off and come off that quickly, it took some force. It's not something that's easy to do.
Especially when we came right upstairs.
I
That was the
don't
timing.
I don't really want to think about it because it's like my buddy still lives there.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
actually no, he doesn't. He kind of lives there.
His parents live there.
Yeah, his parents live there.
His child lives there.
But sometimes he's there. He doesn't stay there anymore. His parents live there. They exist.
And they-
Wait. So you guys go in there though and antagonize these spirits, and then they still live there? Oh my god!
Okay, so
Oh my goodness!
little secret here. His parents were out of town, so we went there. He doesn't live there anymore, but his parents are still there. They didn't know we did this. I think they've been.
They know now.
Yeah, no, they've been.
They know now.
They're probably watching now.
Yeah.
We're gonna send them this.
Yeah, we'll send this video.
Going on.
I don't think we told. In all honesty, we didn't tell them
I
what
don't think
happened.
we ever told them. Yeah.
And they've not had anything happen to them?
Oh yeah, she
All the time.
Carol, his mom Carol, is constantly woken up to a shadow going down the hallway, like right
Oh.
around that area where that what was it called,
The balance.
yeah, where the balance was torn off. Right, that's the end of the hallway. The beginning of the hallways where they see this and feel it. Sometimes they'll get like Joe said the one time he was laying there watching TV and he got all really dizzy all of a sudden. He sat up and we looked in the hallway. He just saw this at daylight, just a black like shadow. He was home alone. Like I'm not into that.
That one was fun.
I liked also that you got whoever was holding the camera got it over there quick enough to catch the thing coming down, and to also and also to show that there was nobody there.
Yeah, that's true because it just worked out.
That's part of vetting the evidence is that nobody was there and the camera turned around. Nobody could have run out of frame fast enough to have done that. And so that's
it was good.
It was pretty intense. I felt I almost shit my.
It's okay. You can say shit, Caleb.
Yeah, and pants.
It was intense.
And pants.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, did that just happen?
Paca de pantalones for our Spanish-speaking viewers.
Pantalones.
Paca de
That was
pantalones.
intense.
You're welcome.
That's why I wanted to share with you guys. We got that caught on.
What else did you send them?
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the point is when you're doing an investigation, especially a private home investigation, where you've either heard stories about what's happening or rumors about what's happening or actually being called in by the homeowners that are telling you what they experience, is your senses are heightened. And the second you walk in, you're already expecting something to occur. And when something loud and something unexpected quick happens, it does. It sends your nerves through the ceiling, and being able to stop, control that, keep it under wraps to figure out, okay, what happened? Did I catch it? At least you caught it. You know what it was. You know what happened. Can we definitely say it's paranormal? Well, it scared the shit out of you. We know that.
Yeah.
And it probably would, because it was unexpected. It was a noise. Yeah. So, I mean, that's understandable, completely understandable.
Yeah.
But like I said, just knowing that activity's been reported, that things are happening, you know, it takes a real set of balls to be able to go in there and do that. It does.
Yeah. So balls and pants have come up so far tonight. That's
balls, pants,
and
caca.
caca.
Yeah.
Shitting with
Tony made that was a brilliant point that he made too, because there's a certain biocentric connection to the environment, and in any experiment you do, you're part of it. There's a resonance that you're part of, and when you're heightened like that, that does have you're already kind of like allergies. It builds up, and that one thing puts you over the top. You're already a little bit up there from that.
You know, we I gotta talk about what we did.
Give me 1 second.
He's gonna go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, we did it. I don't know if I should share this. We did it. We kind of did like a seance in that house.
Yeah.
What did you do
I don't
during
know
the
if
seance?
that's a good idea, but we did something that we had read up on, like some pagan phrase that we kept repeating in a circle. And I don't know if that was smart. I don't know if you guys are gonna judge me for that one, but
No, we don't judge.
No.
yeah, every once in a while we're just like, let's see what happens.
Well, I don't think there's anybody sitting in this group that didn't do stupid shit as kids. That now that we're paranormal investigators.
The first paranormal experience that I had was when a friend of mine who was old enough to drive before we drove around. I wasn't necessarily a great kid growing up. I was good. I was respectful to people, and parents and everything, but I would just do bad stuff, stupid stuff. So we were stealing street signs, like in the middle of nowhere, like streets, like different street names and like parking signs, whatever. We're 15 years old, and we're driving around this town called Hinckley, and it's in December because it was snowing a little bit. And we were driving around a very rural area, but it's a big park system. So there's no really houses around. We weren't worried about getting, cops called on us or whatever. We did it for about an hour and a half. Had a trunk full of signs. Who knows what we were going to do with them, like hang them up in our rooms. We ended up approaching. We went down this hill, and at the bottom of the hill, there was a sign that said, icy conditions may occur on bridge. Proceed with caution. I don't know if you're aware about this or aware of this, but usually city ordinances, if, for example, you litter somewhere on the street, they'll put a sign there saying littering $500 fine. Or if if somebody crashes at a turn, they'll put a, flashing yellow lights, whatever. I think that has something to do with what transpired shortly after. We went and cranked on that sign. And as my friend Joe and I were cranking on it, I heard ever so faintly in the distance, like a scream, like a female bellowing scream. He didn't hear it though. It was so distant. So I asked him when we were there. I still remember this to this day, like clearly, because I've told this story many times. He said he didn't hear it. So we walked across the street, and Marco was the guy who was driving, and his girlfriend. They were like next to us, parallel to us, just going to the other side of the bridge because we saw one more sign. We're like, this is it. This is the last one. It's 2 a.m. We got to go. We're tired. So we start cranking on this sign. And I swear to you, this is the craziest thing that ever happened to me to this point in my life. And this is what took my paranormal V card. We heard that same scream that I heard in a distance. We heard like it was literally all around us and right in front of us. Now we're surrounded by woods. We're in a park that closes at dusk. There's not a house for a square mile. It was the loudest scream, and it sounded like a female just screeching. It was the scariest thing ever. The girl in the car was crying. I dove into the backseat of the window. We nearly lost Joe. He almost fell out because he didn't close the door in time. It was just absolute chaos. So we're like, everybody's freaking out. The girl's crying. We're like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So signs ended up back at Joe's house. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with what had been going on there for these past few years.
Oh,
That's an interesting connection.
yeah.
Hey, real quick, I don't mean to interrupt, but at 9:57 approximately, UNX is going to switch over to their next broadcast. We're going to continue to broadcast live on YouTube and Facebook for everybody that wants to continue watching us. You want to continue watching us. If not, it was nice having you on, but please stick around. We'll finish up here just a little bit after 10. All right.
We're going over our time.
Yeah, we'll go. We're going.
The whole audience is wanting to know, Caleb, did you wash your hands?
Actually, I didn't even get to pee.
We were making too much noise.
I had a little bit of an anxiety attack for a second.
Have flashbacks from
don't worry about me. I'm good.
Well, we don't want you to. I'm going to drag it out now, knowing that you have to pee still. So I'm just kidding.
No, I don't have to pee. I'm good. Wow.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So
all right. Since Caleb still has to go to the bathroom, let's go ahead and show that third clip.
Actually, this is a good clip. That's a good clip.
We're going to do an SB7 session here. This is the room where Danny hung out all the time. How long were you and Danny together?
Together for about 18 years before we separated.
That's a long time. Mm-hmm. Danny, what's up? My name's Adamo, a.k.a. Ghostatic. And we just want to talk to you.
Well, I know that with him passing so quickly.
Oh. Danny, what do you want to say? Is there anything you wanted to tell her that you didn't get a chance to?
Money? Is there money in the house somewhere?
In this house?
Yeah. I don't know.
So Mariah's picking up on something right now. There's money in the house.
He has money hidden in this house?
A jar of money.
Well, that changes everything.
Now my face is hot. It's something about money.
Just like coins that we collected for them, like rare coins.
It's like a glass mason jar of coins.
Do you know where that's at?
No. Would it be in this room?
No.
I feel like my devices are obsolete when in the presence of people who just pick shit up like this.
Well, we could rip apart the walls.
No. Where's that? Is it in the basement?
Oh shit, those lights just went out. Look, there's the light right there. Look at it with the camera right now.
That's weird, man.
What they just... Oh, they're back on.
There's stuff in there, see?
What?
Remember?
What the fuck, dude? Look at that.
Something like over here, and I was like up in there looking.
Fucking chills, bro. That was weird.
Yeah. Probably the sign or the money.
Yeah.
In the ceiling?
In the ceiling. Who knows?
Triggered.
Now that episode, I'm surprised you didn't send them the other parts of that.
Well, they're gonna have to see that.
Yeah, you guys have to see the whole thing.
That's intense.
That was a crime scene. There was a completely saturated in blood mattress. The bedroom in the basement. There was still blood all over the floor from where this guy died 8 months prior. He accidentally overdosed, and that was her husband who we were talking to. And the girl sitting next to me was somebody who had connected us because she's kind of a medium. She's a psychic in a way that she doesn't pick up on spirits, but she picks up on visual things and energy. Like she's able to I don't know. You guys are probably more educated on the matter. That somebody who can pick up not necessarily people, but can see things that maybe the people have seen in a past life, like images, items, items, things. You know, not people.
Right.
Yeah. So she had said that, and then jokingly, he's like, "Why don't we start ripping down the walls?" And then all of a sudden, lights go out.
That's cool.
I'm trying to hold the camera.
Crazy.
Did she ever find the coins?
No.
That's a good
I don't know.
question.
We did that one back
never
in.
followed up.
Yeah, we did that thing back in November, and I promise you guys have to watch the rest of that because that's not the biggest part of that episode.
No.
The biggest part is when I call Connie, who is a psychic medium in Tampa, and I have her on the phone. She knows nothing about the case. I call her sometimes when I'm in locations. I'm like, "Hey, do you pick up on anything?" And what she did at the end of that episode left us shook. I was like, if people don't watch this, they're not going to watch anything. It was so Everybody was crying, just so you know. Everybody, myself, we were all like really, really upset.
So reach back out to her and see if she's found them yet, and if not, have her check the fireplace. We're both picking up the fireplace.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
But she said no, she's not breaking down the wall.
You don't have to break the wall.
She was like prepping the house to sell it, so I don't know if she was.
wow.
That would suck. Wonders go to start a fire and find the coins.
I said that joke.
I don't know what's worth more, the house or the coins.
I'll tell you what. I said that jokingly. I said that jokingly behind the camera, and I was shook. I'm shaking. I'm like, Adam, look at me.
Yeah,
Look at
I
me.
was freaked out, and they didn't even care. They
were just keep talking. Blah, blah, blah.
Bina and Mariah weren't even. They didn't even care. She was so used to these things happening at the house that she didn't even care.
You have to see.
He passed away. He died in the basement, and she was not living there when this happened. So she ended up going back to the house to stage it to sell, but she had been staying there again. Her dad also died in that house too. So the house has got, it's marked.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of
That's
emotional
a good
loss.
way to put it. Yeah.
A lot of emotional loss tied to the location.
Yeah.
That was. I have to say
That's
was
the main thing. It was emotional. It was the first emotional experience.
Oh my God, that was spiritual for me. It was a lot to, oh wow,
Lot to absorb.
woo.
Right.
But I believe we helped somebody, and that's really what moved me from it.
Yeah.
I was shaking at the end of the night. This not right.
Yeah, definitely watch that because you'll see there was a resolve as well.
There's resolve. There was closure, and that meant so much to us. I think
And
on
to
the way
Bina.
back, like coming back from Erie, PA to Ohio, talking about like, holy shit, that just happened.
Yeah,
that just happened. And, that was intense.
Wow.
And
That's important. If anything, if you get out of it is closure, something that closure to yourself or someone else, that's very important. And you did a good thing. That's absolutely great.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love that.
That's a side of what we do. I think that gets lost on the media. The end of it.
Right. Absolutely. Agree with that completely.
It meant the most to me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, evolved.
And I evolved. That day I evolved. I was like, I'm doing
Right.
this for my life.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very cool. That says a lot, and that's a teaching moment for people watching who think the only thing you need to learn is how to use devices. That is a huge part of it.
No, you need to connect spiritually and emotionally because otherwise it's like playing a video game. You need to have some type of connection with that person, whomever you're speaking with. You got to understand that was human. That was a person walking amongst us at some point. So you have to keep that in your mind. Keep that person.
Well, and there's a lot of groups out there that'll do private investigations. And you got to remember, if you go to a place like Trans-Allegheny or abandoned hospitals or something like that to do an investigation, that's one thing. But if you're going to enter into somebody's private home, be prepared to have some kind of a conclusion or answers for them. If they're safe in their home, what can you do to move them forward? You have people you can reach out to that would help them if you find something in the house that needs to be stopped. If you're not going to find a conclusion for somebody that's living in their home, then don't do a private investigation.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because ultimately, you need to help the people that you're there investigating for. And if you're just there to catch evidence, you're in it for the wrong reason on the privates.
Well, agreed, Chris. You need to help either the people that are living in the home or the spirits that are suffering because of whatever's going on. There's two parties involved, but yeah, if you're there just to collect evidence, you're not helping anybody.
I think we've all been guilty of that at some point in our life. But, as investigators, you evolve and you start to realize that the more important things are like the personal connections that are made. And luckily, there was somebody living attached to that person who died to reaffirm all the information that was coming through. So that helped. And
it changed us. It changed us. The way we any way we pursue anything now is going to be very
if it's like a situation like that.
That was very personal.
All right, so which one of you is going to answer ERT Radio's question? It was where could they catch the rest of the video?
Okay, you can find it anywhere. So I shot that vertically. So
it's on Ghostatic YouTube.
It's on Ghostatic's YouTube channel. I had the whole investigation on my Instagram. So if you're watching on your phone, you can expand. You can expand videos vertically on YouTube as well. If you expand it, you can watch it like you watch TikTok. But the main reason why I did that is because I got a big following on TikTok. So I made it in a bunch of segments on there. And that's where you can catch like the highlight reels of the whole thing as it happened. But if you want to watch it from start to finish, which is obviously what I would suggest, YouTube or Instagram, you just go to, you just type in Ghostatic, Ghostatic. And that one, I believe
it's on there.
It's on there. If you go to my channel,
it's called Bina's Tragedy.
Yeah, Bina's Tragedy. Her name was Bina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's about 24 minutes long. It's worth a watch. It's probably the proudest I am of anything we've done.
Oh my
really,
God,
because it just
amazing.
because of the emotional aspect of it. Not necessarily creepy in terms of aesthetically. It was just residential. But I take that back. You see all the blood-stained furniture and the mattresses and the
so
carpeting.
Just,
so you see where this tragedy happened, and we're standing
Wow.
right with
different.
Yeah.
Well, it was awesome having you guys on. So before we thank everybody and before we move forward, shameless plugs. This is your chance.
Plugs. Let's go.
Tell us where we can find your music.
Metal
Tell us where we
Mountains.
can buy your
What's
music.
going
Tell us where we
on?
can see your videos. What's coming up?
What's coming up? Ghostatic, Metal Mountains, August 25th and 29th in West Virginia, in Pipestead, West Virginia.
Okay,
We're gonna be there.
we're gonna streamline this. Okay, so on the musical front, okay,
Yes, music.
we've got lots of shows. We've got a show in Hartford, Connecticut that's pretty big. That's gonna be happening June 9th. 10th, we're gonna be in Erie, PA. Can't tell you the location yet. Then 11th, we got another show in Cleveland, and then we all obviously have the Big Metal in the Mountains Festival that's happening March 25th through the 29th. I can't tell you exactly what day we're playing.
Correct.
We will be there. I know Stabbing Westward's there, Ginger, a bunch of big bands. On the paranormal front, our next location, we've got one that we're waiting for confirmation on in Brooklyn, New York.
Ooh.
By us.
Ooh, that's interesting. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Born and raised in Brooklyn. Yep.
It's in Brooklyn, New York, and that's an interesting case. It's kind of similar to the one that we had done in PA, in Erie. And then there's I personally am going to be filming for Discovery Plus, but I can't tell you when and what the show is called. But we're going to be filming. I'm going to be filming mid-May, tentatively. How do you say that word?
Tentatively. Yeah.
That's one that they've been working on. The production company that I'm signed with has been working on for a while. So that'll be on Discovery Plus. I think if it's filmed, it's going to be filmed for 9 weeks in one location. I don't know how much I can give away about it, but I probably shouldn't say too much. Yeah, and then I think with the other stuff, Paraflix, yeah. So Paraflix, I'm still providing content with, and he's now involved in that as well. Paraflix, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. We were just at the Ohio State Reformatory live streaming there. I think we're going to be doing another episode with Mike Hatcher.
And Jenna from Boundless in Altai.
We might be working with them soon.
They have a new show.
I can't really give you details on release dates or anything like that of those things, but
It's very time sensitive.
Unless the only problem is I don't know what's going to happen once we start filming it once I start filming for Discovery, what I'm able to do with Paraflix at that point. But I know for now we've got a couple things going.
I will give you though that Ghostatic is the music side. There's something in the works.
Oh yeah, new song coming out.
You're gonna want to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, it's a cover song.
If we could play it now.
Wait. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Tell me if you know the song. I'll play you a full snippet of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Recognize it? It's a cover song.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very cool.
Appreciate you guys having on. I want to shout out to
Yeah,
everybody
thanks.
watching tonight. Thank you for spending the last hour and some odd minutes with us. We appreciate you coming on every week. Caleb, happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, we're gonna continue the festivities for him after this. So
Nice.
Awesome. It's going to involve
Thank you so much.
In the bathroom.
All of you.
Thanks for spending your birthday with us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
There's
Right
no
there.
place I'd rather be.
No.
Sharing your experiences and your thoughts and your evidence is pretty cool.
Let's all
Yeah,
connect
project
after this
is
as
awesome.
well. Let's all connect after this. I don't know what you guys are more what social media outlet you use the most, but I'm usually, Instagram and Facebook if it's on a personal level. TikTok, everything. If we're gonna shout out social media links, it's everything Ghostatic. So if you're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, you just type in Ghostatic, you'll find me right away. And if you're interested in the music, all you gotta do is type in Ghostatic, or if you go to any of my profiles, there's link trees that take you to all the streaming services. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, all that stuff. So
Awesome.
Very cool. Awesome.
Well, one last time, we'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, if you want to rock out while you catch evidence, you got to go Ghostatic, and you got to stay haunted.
I like
Have
that.
a good night, everybody.
I like
We'll see you
that.
next week.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it so much.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?